Welcome everyone to this module on asbestos and involvement of lung in asbestos. So today we are talking about one of the most resilient materials that humankind has used in industries, which is asbestos. And asbestos can cause such a varied variety of lung involvement and diseases that this picture that you have in front of you is showing how a healthy lung versus a lung disease with asbestos could be. There's a lot of irreversible lung scarring. There is varied manifestations in the pleura and the lung parenchyma. So this involvement, this disease becomes really important for occupational health. Now, talking about asbestos, it's a very heat resistant material. It's like a miracle material for the industries because it's chemically inert, it does not have much conductivity of heat electricity, so you can use it, and it is of very good tensile strength. For us as physicians, the problem lies in the diameter and the length of the asbestos fibers, which are of the respirable category because they are less than 3 microns in diameter and they are very long, more than 5 microns in length. So this heat resistant, highly inert tensile material can be inhaled deep into the lung tissue and cause a very manifestation of lower respiratory tract. Now, asbestos as such is also of varied varieties. And if you talk about the two main types of fibers, then one is the serpentine variety, which includes curly fibers, the chrysotile, and the amphiboles, which include the straight fibers and the blue fibers and the brown fibers. And these minerals, out of these, the curly fibers of the chrysotile are used in more than 90% of industries. And while both are mineralogenic, and have magnesium and iron silicates as components. The serpentines, mainly the chrysotile or the white asbestos, is used more. The other variety, which is known for its straight needle-like fibers, is very hazardous because these needles can actually go very deep and puncture the deeper tissues of the lung. Now here you can see the 6 varieties of these fibers, and as I said that the fibers, they are very sharp. Now have a look at these fibers, how sharp these are. Look at this, the blue fibers. So these fibers are they can interact with human tissue. Now this is not just an industrial color coding. It basically depends on what kind of fiber it is, of how it interacts with the human tissue. For example, the curly flexible fibers, they can be intercepted sometimes by the lungs upper defense mechanisms, the mucus, the cilia of the airways. And the straighter ones, the rigid ones, they can actually hit like a javelin or like a spear, because they are very, very stiff needles microscopically. And then further, these needles can shatter longitudinally and become more thinner and sharper spears that can go even more deeper. Now, majorly, Russia, China, and earlier Canada and South Africa were the major global producers of asbestos. Now, India usually imports its raw asbestos. It does not have significant reserves of asbestos, but the chrysotile variety is mostly imported into India, and it's mostly used in the cement industry, the roofing sheets and the pipes, the tanks and panels. That's the industry that uses asbestos majorly in India. Now, when you look at the various types used, again, although it's more in the industries which revolve around cement and roofing, it's also important to understand that occupational health hazard is also for other industries which could be related, like the plumbers, like the electricians, or the shipbuilders, not only the ones who are working in asbestos factories. So there could be a disturbing exposure during repairs, during making of these houses, because we are in a very complex global economy. So we can have hidden asbestos in a lot of materials that have been labeled asbestos free, and these raw fibers can be there in the air and people can be exposed to them.